What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I'm here to do my video on potential free agent defensive lineman, for the Miami Dolphins today. But before I get into that, today was the trouble with, doing this super in-depth, position by position breakdown with all these different players and stuff. The fact that it took so long to get all this information together, et cetera, et cetera. The problem is that we've been in the window of opportunity for teams to, franchise tag players and so on and so forth. And today was the last day. And so there was a lot of stuff that happened. There was actually some big information too on a couple of the notable quarterbacks that were going to be available this offseason. So we are actually going to jump right into it because there is a ton to talk about, and I'm going to start off with all of that flurry of news. I'm just going to go through it quick just to give it to you guys. So let's go ahead and do that. So first and foremost, actually, before I talk about that, let me just go ahead and let you know that Russell Wilson got traded to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos get Russell Wilson in like a 4th round pick, and then they gave up like 2 different players. They gave up, I think, 2 1st round picks, like a 3rd round pick, and then like 2 other picks or something like that. Like, they gave up so much for him. But anyway, so Russell Wilson now is going to be a Denver Bronco. Aaron Rodgers is going to be staying in Green Bay. So there you have it, which actually also makes sense, though, when you look at what the Packers did franchise tagging Davante Adams. So just the couple quick things about quarterbacks. Russell Wilson is now a Denver Bronco after the trade, and Aaron Rodgers will be staying in Green Bay. And when we look at these tags, if you notice, now I haven't gotten to a couple of these positions. Like, I haven't gotten to the tight end position quite yet, or the safety position. Those are next on my list. But if you notice, every single one of these players, for sure, when you look at the wide receivers, the offensive tackles, all of these guys were on my free agency list to look at. So I do find that interesting. I find it personally satisfactory because it's helping me to know that I'm, looking in the right places for free agents, and I'm, doing a decent job at my scouting so far, even though I'm still so very young and inexperienced in this part of, covering football and my team. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to stop tooting my horn a little bit, but so if you look at what happened, the Packers did franchise tag Davante Adams. So I mentioned this in my last video. There is still a chance that any of these players can end up getting traded. They could rescind the tag. Those things can happen. Also, by the way, there's a report, when we'll get to Mike Gesicki a little more in a minute, but there's a report out there that he actually could file a grievance in regard to his tag, but we'll talk about that more in a second. So Packers franchise Davante Adams. So as of right now, he comes off the board. He was on my list of wide receivers. Another potential target for the Dolphins on the wide receiver front was Godwin, but the Bucks do in fact franchise tag him. I do have Jesse Bates, and I'll still talk about him when I get to the safeties list, just in case or whatever, and just to let you know some of the reason why I like him. He's an intriguing young player. Anyway, Jesse Bates, safety from the Bengals, and then you have Orlando Brown, tackle from the Chiefs. He was on my list. Cam Robinson from the Jags, he was on my list. Tight end Dalton Schultz. You'll see I haven't gotten to tight ends yet, but excuse me. Dalton Schultz is on my list, and Njoku's on my list. Now, I also do have Mike Gesicki and Durham Smythe on my tight ends list because they are technically both free agents, but as you can see, Dolphins did franchise tag Mike Gesicki. Now, again, he could be filing a grievance to get his position changed because they do tag him as a tight end, which is going to pay him just under $11 million. I think it is about $10.9 million for the franchise tag. So But anyway, we'll see how all that plays out. But I do like the fact that they did it. Hopefully they can hammer out a longer term deal with him. Obviously they got to figure out what position they're going to pay him at. But I would love to see them hammer out a longer term deal. But I also would like to see that with Durham Smythe, because I actually think that when you have Gesicki, Smythe, Hunter Long, who we just took this past year, right, in the draft, and then let's say you add in an Adam Shaheen, I actually like that room, and I think it's pretty solid. I think it's super workable. I think Mike McDaniel and this offensive coaching staff can do something with it. So I just want to see that, and, you know, obviously that's 3 of our draft picks, right? Gesicki, Smythe, and Long are all our draft picks. So keep those guys in-house. Pay them. One of my philosophies is to pay the guys that you draft or whatever, or I guess if you bring them in free agency and they perform for you like an Emmanuel Ogbah, you pay those guys, right? You pay in-house. That's how I would prefer to build a team. Build through the draft, supplement in free agency, but pay the guys in-house when they perform, so that way you can lock up positions, and then it makes it more clear where you need to fill holes, and then you can attack it that way. Now, anyway, there is some more important news. So we go through the tags. Roster moves. They also tendered exclusive rights free agents Salvan Ahmed and Elijah Campbell, defensive back Elijah Campbell, running back Salvan Ahmed. So I don't hate that. I mean, they're just tenders, and, you know, it's basically just for training camp. So when I say I don't hate that, I actually like that. I think that's solid. I think these are solid guys to bring into training camp, give them tenders, cool, make sure that they're there, fine, all well and good. There's this other tweet. So I'm on my, I put out a series, or I retweeted a series of tweets right before doing this, because there was some important stuff there. And so I'm on my Twitter going through this. But if the Dolphins are unable to retain Emmanuel Ogbah, outside linebacker Harold Landry, who is avoiding the franchise tag from the Titans, would be a fantastic candidate to help replace Ogbah's pass rush presence. Landry should be highly sought after on the open market. They did not tag him, obviously. Also, J.C. Jackson did not get tagged today. So those are interesting. And Harold Landry is on my list of guys, as he was on my list, because I did linebackers already, of guys to take a look at. So I feel like I'm doing really good in you know, my free agency, like, dive in and who we should be targeting. Like, I feel like I'm doing well. Anyway, whatever. It just feels good. Like, having confirmation that other people are talking about the same guys that I am and stuff like that, right? And that the Dolphins are, because you look at this next tweet, Dolphins expected to pursue Pro Bowl offensive lineman Terran Armstead and center Ryan Jensen in free agency should they become available. Now, there's not a guarantee that they will be available, right? Like, we've heard that the Bucs are trying to keep Ryan Jensen, so maybe they give him a deal, maybe he stays there. But I told you guys, my dream offensive line going into this season would be Terran Armstead at left tackle. You know, left guard is probably, I would say, Solomon Kinley. Although you would have Solomon Kinley, Michael Dieter, Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg, Rob Jones, a bunch of guys, right, to fight it out and see if they can fill in. And if you get the rest of these guys on the line that I've been talking about, I think that left guard position may be your weak link, but it'll still be, you know, an overall damn good offensive line. Because you talk about, and let's say for this scenario, let's say it's Terran Armstead left tackle. This would be my dream. Terran Armstead left tackle, let's say Solomon Kinley left guard, with Ryan Jensen at center, Robert Hunt at right guard, and then if you can also get Trent Brown to get that right tackle spot, that blindside spot, ooh, baby. Woo! Boy, oh boy, oh boy, with that. So it does look like they are going to be targeting at least 2 of those guys, and I'd love to see him be able to bring them in. So really good stuff there, even though, you know, when it comes to this front, a number of the targets that I have on my list, some of the top targets too, have been franchise tagged and, you know, are incapable of being sought after. unless they rescinded or something. But also good to see, though, that they did franchise tag Mike Gesicki. So anyway, moving on, let's go ahead and get into the actual point and purpose of this video. So real quick, start off, go through position rankings by need, offensive line, starting with tackles, center, don't need guards. Just talked about that a little bit. Running back, wide receiver, linebacker, true middle, defensive line, edge and tackle, cornerback, tight end, safety, backup quarterback, and punter. And so this video, the primary purpose of this video, oh no, now I'm going to have to scroll to it. Anyway, primary purpose of this video is to talk about defensive linemen in free agency. And so, man, and then we get to cornerback, tight end, safety, quarterback, and then punter will be last. But anyway, I am trying to get through these before the new league year does start and open up on the 16th, because again, part of the problem is that now moves are being made and I haven't even gotten to some of these position groups yet. So, but anyway, let's jump right into it. Let's start going through. I think I'm just going to breeze through this like as quick as I can. I think I'm kind of getting it down and how I want to go through all of this information. So I'm not going to talk about these guys too much, except for maybe just a quick little note about what, if I like them or not. But I'm going to breeze through this because I think I do want to fit in both tackles and edge rushers into this video, where I was going to do them separate, but I am trying to get all this in before the new league year starts. So let me go ahead. Akeem Hicks is number one, or not necessarily number one, although I do like Akeem Hicks. I do think he would be a solid veteran. But again, my perspective on the defensive line is you got Wilkins and Raekwon Davis, keep Adam Butler, keep Zach Sealer. I think that's why defensive line is kind of at the bottom of the list. I think your tackles are good. They need to find a way to keep Ogba, and then you have Phillips. I think your edge rushers are good. Maybe get one more guy behind that. That's why edge rusher is over tackle for sure, and especially that if you were unable to keep Ogba. But it's not a super high priority to me. And frankly, you could maybe even get a mid to late round pick in the draft to bring up. And, you can pluck some guys from free agency or, as undrafted free agents, right? Some cheap guys to bring in anyway. And of course they did bring in Deshaun Hall, right? So, not really a high priority to me, but I do like Akeem Hicks and a guy I would definitely, again, let me just say this about all of them. All of the guys on this list are guys that I think would be worth taking a look at and doing your due diligence. So Akeem Hicks from Chicago, he's a UFA. He is older, 33, with a pretty, decent sized price tag, current APY of $12 million. Measurables, combine, pro day. He was a round 3 pick, 89 overall in 2012. 10 years in, started with the Saints from 2012 to 14. Then with the Saints for partial of 15 before going to the Patriots. And then he's been with the Bears pretty much ever since from 16 to present. 138 games played, 110 started, 6,253 snaps, 625.3 per year. 387 total, 38.7 per, 250 solo, 25 per, 135 assisted, 13.7 per, 73 tackles for loss, 7.3, 111 quarterback hits, 11.1, 40 and a half sacks, 4.05 per year. 6 forced fumbles, 0.6 per, 6 fumble recoveries, also 0.6 per year. 9 passes defense, 0.9. And then this past season, he played 9 games, started 9 games, 304 total snaps, 25 total tackles, 19 solo, 6 assisted, 5 tackles for loss, 9 quarterback hits with 3.5 sacks, has made it to the Pro Bowl in 2018, and he has also been placed on the 100 greatest Bears of all time, which is pretty significant, especially because, as you see, he only spent it's only been like the second half of his career. He spent the first half of it with other teams too. So anyway, they didn't even get him until the second half of his career, although you could probably argue the best portion of his career too. So anyway, snap wise and grade wise in 2021, on 304 snaps, a 72.3 overall, 66 runs, 71.9 pass rush, 869 snaps in 2020, 66 overall, 64 runs, 72.7 pass rush, 196 snaps in 2019, 76.7 overall, 81.6 run, 63.3 pass rush, 2018 is his best year, 842 snaps, 91.7 overall, 92.7 run, 79.8 pass rush, 899 snaps in 2017, 76.2 overall, 79.5 run, 65.8 pass rush, 930 in 2016. 76.6 overall, 80.6 run, 67.8 pass rush. Has been relatively consistent and has gotten pretty much better throughout his career too. 474 in 2015, 69.6 overall, 61.1 run, 70.5 pass rush, 720 snaps in 2014, 65.8 overall, 72.2 run, 56.6 pass rush. 650 snaps in 2013, 67.5 overall, 70.5 run, and a 58.7 pass rush, and 369 snaps in 2012, 68.5 overall, 63.9 run, 63.3 pass rush. All right, that moves us on to Calais Campbell. I did hear not too long ago, a few days or a week ago or whatever, that there could be actually some interest here. Maybe Calais Campbell could come to the Dolphins. Again, all of these guys I would take a look at. It depends on if they keep Ogba and so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to keep repeating those things. Let's just go through it. He's been a phenomenal player his entire career, though, for the most part. UFA, he is 36. He is older, has an $8 million current APY, measurables, combine, pro day. He was a round 2 pick in 2008, 50th overall, 14 years in, started with the Cardinals from 8 to 16, 17 to 19 with the Jags, and then 2020 to present with the Ravens. And in that last year with the Cardinals, if we remember, was the year where his head collided with Ryan Tannehill's knee and tore his ACL, unfortunately. So there's a little bit of sour grapes there, but for us as Dolphins fans, although you know me, it wasn't on purpose. I don't just play on the emotions, so I like to be logical about my evaluations. Anyway, he's got 213 games in, 194 started, 10,577 snaps. So he does have a lot of, wear and tear on those ties. Who knows? Maybe he won't even play this upcoming season. But anyway, if you did, again, take a look at him. 755.5 snaps per year, 773 total, 55.2 per, 566 solo, 40.4 per, 207 assisted, 14.8 per year, 161 tackles for loss, 11.5, 223 quarterback hits, 15.9, 93.5 sacks, 6.7 per year. Obviously getting close to that 100 sack mark. Maybe he's trying. Maybe he's staying in. Like, I'm going to get that triple digit. Anyway, 3 interceptions, 0.2 per year, 14 forced fumbles, 1 per year, 12 recoveries, 0.9 per year. Pretty decent, though, in the turnovers as well. 55 passes defense, 3.9 per year, 3 touchdowns, 0.2, 2 safeties to his career, 0.1 per year. 15 games played this last season, 14 started, 617 snaps, 49 total tackles, 29 solo, 20 assisted, 5 tackles for loss, 12 quarterback hits with 1.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 pass defense. Has been to the Pro Bowl a number of times in 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Also made All-Pro in 2017 and made second-team All-Pro in 14 and 16, which was his rookie year, and did win Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year in 2019. And as you will see, he's got damn good grades, especially the back half. Had a little bit of struggle in the early portions of his career, but damn good ever since. 617 snaps in 2021, 80.8 overall, 77.9 run, 69.5 pass rush, 471 in 2020, 71.9 overall, 64 run, 70.4 pass rush, 833 in 2019, 90.3 overall, 90.6 run, 81.4 pass rush, 815 in 2018, 90.9 overall, 93.6 run, 70.4 pass rush, 940 in 2017, 90.9 overall, 87.6 run, 83.8 pass rush. You see a lot of elite grades here, so it would be an interesting acquisition. 789 snaps in 2016, 91.2 overall, 89.7 run, 89.2 pass rush, 878 in 2015, 85.1 overall, 87.8 run, 67.8 pass rush, 784 snaps in 2014, 82.7 overall, 90 run, 61.6 pass rush. And yeah, look, I'm gonna change this a little bit. I mean, look, He's been pretty consistent on the field, staying on the field. He's had pretty consistent grades. Obviously had some struggles early on in his career with his grades. Again, take Pro Football Focus for what it is. But ever since then, according to them, he's been damn good. A lot of elite grades in there. Been to the Pro Bowl a bunch. Really solid player. Definitely somebody to take a look at. Anyway, I'm just saying because I'm actually getting kind of, over reading through all the grades, and it makes the video that much longer. So I think I'm going to kind of cut that out a little bit. I'll just talk about the grades a little bit and summarize, I guess. And I'm sure you guys will appreciate that too. Like I said, I'm still kind of learning my way through this format and what I think is the best and most efficient way to deliver this very large, abundant amount of information. So anyway, moving on, we do move on to New York Jets. Folorunso Fatukasi as a UFA. He's 27, pretty cheap, measurables, combine scores. He was a 6th round pick in 2018, 180 overall, 4 years in, all with the Jets so far, 45 games played, 23 started, 1,463 snaps, 365.75 per year, 115 total tackles, 28.75 per, 61 solo, 15.25 per year, 54 assisted, 13.5, 18 tackles for loss, 4.5, 14 quarterback hits, 3.5, and 3 sacks with 0.75 per year, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 0.25 per year for each, 3 passes defense with 0.75 per year. And in 2021, he did set or match a number of career bests: 15 games played, 15 started, 559 snaps, 46 total tackles, 25 solo, 21 assisted, 5 tackles for loss, and 6 quarterback hits. Hasn't had spectacular grading, as you can see, although he's got some elite run defense grades in 2020 and 2019. Obviously, he's only got, the 4 years in. But he has been increasing his snap count each and every year, right? So you do see that from 3 to 394 to 507, 559. Did struggle a bit this season in his grades. Obviously, take it for what you will. But, a decent player, I think, overall. And again, this is not exactly high on my list. Oh, by the way, also just to mention, Calais Campbell, you could totally put in the defensive end position. For some reason, I put him in defensive tackle position. But whatever. And he has been lined up in that position before. But, like Christian Wilkins is lined up at defensive end before. Anyway, moving on. B.J. Hill from the Cincinnati Bengals is next on my list. UFA, 27, about $1 million current APY. Measurables, combine scores, round 3 overall, or round 3 pick, 69 overall, 2018. 4 years in, started with the Giants 18 to 2020, then with the Bengals from 2021 to present. 64 games played, 19 started, 2,237 snaps, 559.25 per year, 166 total tackles, 41.5 per year, 91 solo, 75.75 per year, 75 assisted, 18.75 per year, 16 tackles for loss, that's 4 per, 25 quarterback hits, 6.25 per, 13 sacks, 3.25 per year, 3 passes defense, 0.75 per year. This past season, he had played in 16 games, started 2 with 719 snaps. Obviously, you can see set or matched a number of career bests: 50 total tackles, 29 solo, 21 assisted, 6 tackles for loss, 12 quarterback hits, and 5.5 sacks. And he has actually been pretty steady his entire career grade-wise. This is the most amount of snaps, although he started off with a good amount, dipped a bit, and then back up there. Obviously changed teams, though, so that has something to do with it, but mostly green grades. Has been a solid player, it would seem, and has played a decent amount of time in his 4 years. All right, that moves us on to DJ Jones from San Francisco. He's a UFA, 27. He's 27 with a 3.5 current APY, combine pro day, or measurables combine. He was a round 6 pick, 198 overall in 2017, got 5 years in, started with the San Francisco 49ers, or has been with the San Francisco 49ers the whole time, from 17 to present, 61 games played, 46 started, 1,765 snaps, 353 per year, 126 total tackles, 25.2 per, 92 solo, 18.4 per, 34 assisted, 6.8 per year, 23 tackles for loss, 4.6 per year, 9 quarterback hits, 1.8, 7 sacks, 1.4, 3 forced fumbles, 0.6, and 3 passes defensed, also 0.6 per year. This past season set or matched a number of career bests. 17 games played, 17 started, 654 snaps, 56 total, 40 solo, 16 assisted, 10 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits, 2 sacks with 2 forced fumbles and 1 pass defense. And he did also have his best year in grade-wise, and as you can see, he also has each and every year increased his snap count to reaching a career high this season, and his grades have generally speaking gone up with each season as well, so he has gotten a bit better each and every year, as you can see here from his grades. Now we move on to Los Angeles Chargers, Linval Joseph. He is another one of the older veterans on this list, a UFA at 34, $8.5 million current APY, measurables, combine, pro day. He was a round 2 pick in 2010, 46 overall, 12 years in from 2010 to 13 with the Giants, 14 to 19 with the Vikings, and 2020 to present with the Chargers. Let's see, 171 games played, 162 started, 7,228 snaps, 602.3 per year, 644 total tackles, 53.7 per, 379 solo, 31.6 per, 265 assisted, 22.1 per year, 56 tackles for loss, 4.7, 75 quarterback hits, 6.25, 25 sacks, 2.1, 8 forced fumbles, that's 0.7 per year, 5 fumble recoveries, 0.4, 6 passes defense, 0.5, 1 touchdown, that's 0.1 per year. Now, as for 2021, he's got 14 games played, 12 started, 551 snaps, 57 total tackles, 30 solo, 27 assisted, 3 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits, 1 sack, made the Pro Bowl in 2016 and 17, and is also a Super Bowl champion from Super Bowl 46 back in 2011. Let's see, who was he with back then? That would be the Giants. So I guess, what, Eli Manning back then? Anyway, so, and then taking a look at his grades, he did have a rough season overall this past year, but did get an elite 83 overall pass rush grade, although also obviously didn't quite play the entire year as well, probably battled some injuries, has been relatively steady overall. Pass rush seems to be his, well, I mean, I guess he evens out or whatever. Started off his career a little bit tough, but has gotten better and has posted some elite grades in overall and in his run defense. The 1 pass rush this year, been pretty steady overall in his grading, and probably, and from what I know of him over the years, he's been a pretty good player. Definitely a name that's familiar, a household name, I would think. And I like him. Again, if he's on this list, if the players are on this list, I think they're worth taking a look at. So now we look at a slightly younger and definitely more cheap player here with Sebastian Joseph Day from the Los Angeles Rams, this time as a UFA, 27. Measurables, pro day scores. He was a round 6 pick in 2018, 195 overall, 4 years in, all with the Rams. 39 games played, 38 started, 1,324 snaps, 331 per year. Not a ton of usage for this guy on a per year basis so far. Not a ton of snaps. 137 total tackles at least this point in his career. 35.25 per, 83 solos, 20.75 per, 54 assisted, 13.5, 9 tackles for loss, 2.25, 14 quarterback hits, 3.5. 6 sacks, that's 1.5 per year. 1 forced fumble is 0.25, and 4 passes defensed is 1 per year. This past season, didn't play the entire season, obviously. Only played 7 games, 7 started, 344 snaps, 38 total tackles, 23 solo, 15 assisted, 3 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits, and 3 sacks. He is also a Super Bowl champion, though, obviously, because the Rams just won the Super Bowl this year. So he is a Super Bowl champion as of Super Bowl 56, which was in 2021. And taking a look at his snaps and his grades, not his best year for snaps, hasn't been terribly good in his grading, didn't get any snaps in his rookie season, so definitely some stuff left to be desired there, but I think he's a solid player overall, and again, a slightly younger and definitely much cheaper option if you were going to bring in somebody maybe as a depth option, although, again, I don't think this is a super high priority, and you could probably actually just address it in the draft in the later rounds or something like that. All right, now we move on to Malik Collins. I mean, unless you're really trying to, but I just don't think I don't think it's a high priority unless you lose Agba, but then you still wouldn't go after a defensive tackle. You'd really be going after a pass rusher and edge rusher. So I don't really think there's much of a reason for the Dolphins to upgrade the defensive line position or the defensive tackle position, because there are definitely enough needs elsewhere that you don't need to go like wasting resources on an area that's pretty set with Wilkins, Raekwon Davis, Adam Butler, Zach Sealer, right? And not to mention some of those other guys do rotate to the inside sometimes, but like, it's just not a high priority. Anyway, Malik Collins, I was going to say, like, unless they wanted to really bolster that unit and get a top tier guy, but you'd have to probably pay a good amount of money. I just don't think it's necessary or a good prioritizing. So, but again, I did want to put some comprehensive lists together of guys who I think would be good to at least take a look at, right? Because you're always going to be evaluating every position. You're always going to be evaluating everything that's out there. And so I think it's a good practice to be in. Anyway, Malik Collins from Houston is up next. He's a UFA, 27, $5 million current APY. Measurables, combine. Round 3 pick in 2016, 67 overall, 6 years in, started with the Cowboys from 16 to 19, played with the Raiders in 2020, and then 2021 to present with the Texans. 88 games played, 81 started, 3,827 snaps, 637.8 per year, 128 total tackles, 21.3, 80 solo, 13.3, 48 assisted, that's 8 per year, 29 tackles for loss, 4.8 per, 48 quarterback hits, 8 per year, 17 sacks, 2.8 per, 1 interception and 1 forced fumble, which is each 0.2 per season, 6 fumble recoveries, that's 1 per year, 1 pass defense, which is 0.2 per year. And in 2021, he played in 15 games, started 15 with 629 snaps, 29 total tackles, 18 solo, 11 assisted, 9 tackles for loss, 7 quarterback hits, 2.5 sacks, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 pass defense. This past season, and to be fair, again, take PFF for what it is, but he hasn't been particularly graded well, as you can see, and even had some pretty bad grades at points. So, in your personal evaluation, now again, wouldn't necessarily be at the top of my list if I was going to go after a guy, but again, I think at least worth being, Sheldon Richardson would probably be ahead of him. Some of these other guys we talked about, I mean, Calais Campbell's not technically a defensive tackle, but probably him. Linval Joseph I'd probably go for over Malik Collins. But solid player, again, maybe just a veteran guy you could bring in as a rotational piece if you can get him cheap enough, etc., etc. Again, I think at least worth taking a look at. Sheldon Richardson is up next from the Vikings, currently in void years of his contract. He's 32, 3.6 current APY, measurables, combine, pro day. He was a first-round pick in 2013. 13 overall, 9 years in, starting with the Jets. Obviously, we know 13 to... Oh, that's supposed to be 16, obviously. 2017 with the Seahawks, 2018 with the Vikings, 19 and 20 with the Browns, and then back to the Vikings for 2021 to present. 138 games played, 125 started, 6,571 snaps, 730.1 per year, 500 total tackles, 55.6 per, 297 solo, 33 per year, 203 assisted, 22.6, 64 tackles for loss, 7.1 per year. 105 quarterback hits, 11.7, 33.5 sacks, and 3.7 per year. Pretty good production from him over his career. 1 interception, 0.1 per year. 11 forced fumbles, 1.2. 6 fumble recoveries, 0.7. 18 passes defense, that's 2 per year. 1 safety, 0.1 per season. Last season, he played in 17 games, started 7, 687 snaps, 39 total tackles, 24 solo, 15 assisted, 6 tackles for loss, 13 quarterback hits, 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and 4 passes defense. Obviously, again, just a blanket statement for all of, or generalization, I guess, for all of the older guys, will they fall off? Are they currently in their fall off? That sort of thing. Will you be able to get because he's had some pretty high level production over the course of his career, but is he starting to get into that point of his career where he is falling off, right? That's something that you got to evaluate. when you're doing these, and figure if he's worth bringing in. He did make the Pro Bowl in 2014. He also did make Pro Football Writers Association All Rookie Team in 2013, as well as was the Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2013, which is a pretty big deal. And then obviously didn't grade out particularly well in 2021 on his 687 snaps, but has been pretty solid, even posting some elite grades at points in his career. So been a pretty solid player, again, worth taking a look at. Next up, we have Tim Settle from Washington, UFA. He's 25, younger and cheaper, although obviously less accomplished. Measurables, combine score, pro days, round 5th pick in 2018, 163 overall. 4 years in with Washington. I only did this because I wanted to differentiate between their names, because they were the Skins in 18 and 19, football team for 2 years, and they are now after the 2021 season have become the Washington Commanders. So I just thought it was interesting to see the evolution of the Washington Redskins to football team to Commanders. Anyway, 63 games played in, only 2 started though, with 1,004 snaps, 251 per year, hasn't got a ton of usage, 54 total tackles, 13.5 per, 34 solo, 8.5 per season, 20 assisted. This is, a guy like this would be a young guy that maybe you could develop, a young cheap option that maybe you could develop in behind some of the guys you have, especially like this is a guy maybe you would bring in because you don't need to play him right now, right? You can get him young and cheap for a little while. Maybe if you see the potential in him, you can develop him, or smooth out some of the rough edges and, get his technique up and so on and so forth. And maybe then he can develop into a guy just in case later down the road, maybe you don't decide to give Christian Wilkins his 5th-year option, or you don't want to pay him a big contract coming up or whatever, right? So that would be maybe an option for a little bit later down the road, but you can get him in the building now, young and cheap. 20 assisted, 5 per year, 12 tackles for loss, 3 per, 12 quarterback hits, 3 per, 7 sacks, 1.75 per year, 1 fumble recovery, 0.25. And this past season, he played in 16 games, 210 snaps, 13 total tackles, 7 solos, 6 assisted, 4 tackles for loss, and 1 fumble recovery. And hasn't been spectacular in his grading, but there you have it. Overall, and pass rush seems to be better for him. Run defense seems to be a little bit of a struggle. As per his grades. We do move on to, again, another relatively young and cheap option in Bilal Nichols from Chicago as a UFA. Current measurables, combine pro day. He was a round 5 pick in 2018, 145 overall. And a lot of these young cheap options are, would be something to consider with, like I just said, right? These young cheap options are potentially, you can get him in to build up and develop behind the guys you have for the future, or, the veteran guys would be, maybe you wanted to bolster that unit now while also bringing in a veteran presence to help develop some of the younger guys that you already have. So, but again, not a very high priority. 4 years in, all with the Bears from 18 to present, 16 games played, 49 started, 2,062 snaps, 515.5 per year, 146 total tackles, 36.5 per season, 77 solo, 19.25 per, 69 assisted, 17.25 per, 18 tackles for loss, 4.5, 31 quarterback hits, 7.75, 11 sacks, 2.75, 1 interception, 0.25 per year, 2 forced fumbles, a half forced fumble per season, 4 fumble recoveries, that's 1 per year, 5 passes defensed at 1.25 per season. 17 games played this past year, 15 started, 677 snaps, 51 total tackles, 26 solo, 25 assisted, 5 tackles for loss, 9 quarterback hits, 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 pass defensed. Again, hasn't been graded spectacularly early on in his first 4 years of his career, but has played a decent amount of snaps, each year, whatever. So, again, another young, cheap guy to maybe bring up behind. All right, we get to another one of those examples about a young, cheap option to maybe develop behind the guys we have. Harrison Phillips from Buffalo, UFA 26, measurables, combine, round 3 pick in 2018, 96 overall, 4 years in from Bills the entire time, 45 games played, 11 started, 1,268 snaps, 317 per season, 107 total tackles, 26.75 per, 60 solo, 15 per year, 47 assisted, 11.75, 8 tackles for loss, 2 per year, 13 quarterback hits, 3.25, 1.5 sacks, that's 0.375 per season, 3 fumble recoveries, 0.75 per year, and 3 passes defensed, same in per year average. 14 games played, 8 started with 473 snaps, did set or match a number of career bests this season though. 51 total tackles, 28 solo, 23 assisted, 4 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 1 pass defense. Has been slightly better graded than a couple of these guys previous overall. And his snap count generally seemed to improve, except for his first year. He got a decent amount, but then 75, 331, 473. Again, you know how I feel. So another guy to just take a look at and do your due diligence, right? We then move on to Larry Ogunjobi, who is a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more accomplished player from Cincinnati, UFA, 6.2 million current APY, measurables, combine numbers, round 3 pick in 2017, 65 overall, 5 years in, 17 to 20 with the Browns, then 2021 to present with the Bengals, 76 games played, 63 started, 3,344 snaps, 668.8 per year. So again, more usage out of him than some of these previous guys. 229 total tackles, 45.8 per year, 137 solo, 27.4 per, 92 assisted, 18.4, 41 tackles for loss, 8.2, 53 quarterback hits, 10.6 per year, 21.5 sacks, 4.3, 2 forced fumbles, that's 0.4 per year, 1 pass defense, 0.25. Played in 16 games, started 16 games this past season, 723 snaps, 49 total tackles, 29 solo, 20 assisted, 12 tackles for loss, 16 quarterback hits, and 7 sacks. But has not exactly been, graded out particularly well, and it seems like his grades are actually getting worse as he goes. So that is something that maybe could be a potential concern. But I think, I think he's actually been a solid player. I think he's probably been a bit better than what they've graded him out to be. But again, I don't follow him super close, so I can't say that with any real definitive, say. But anyway, so we move on. Chandler Jones, who actually could be a legit free agent this offseason, although he is pretty expensive. He is older, although he has been a premier player in this league, even recently, obviously, with the Cardinals, with the Cardinals, UFA 32, 16.5 million current APY, which is about what both Xavier Howard and Byron Jones make per season. So probably not a good idea to bring in that kind of a cap hit. Even though we have tons of money. But again, always do your due diligence. Measurables, combine scores, pro day scores. Was a first round pick in 2012, 21 overall, 10 years in. Started with the Patriots from 12 to 15 and been with the Cardinals from 16 to present. 139 games played, 136 started, 8,096 snaps, 809.6 per year, 473 total tackles, 47.3 per, 331 solo, 33.1 per season, 142 assisted, 14.2, 118 tackles for loss, 11.8, 195 quarterback hits, 19.5, and of course the monster 107.5 sacks, which is 10.75 per year. 10.75. So reasonably, man, you can think that you're going to get, and he has stayed healthy pretty much too, throughout his career and has maintained that 809.6 snaps per year. So, if you were going to bring in a guy, he would certainly be a good one to try and bring in. He's got 1 interception, 0.1 per year, 33 forced fumbles, 3.3 per season, 10 fumble recoveries, 1 per season, and obviously one of the best players on the entire list, whether defensive tackle or defensive end, and we have obviously got into the defensive end section of this video. So 27 passes defense, 2.7 per year, 1 touchdown, 0.1 per year. I mean, let me just say this, to throw him in the mix with Agba and Phillips would be absolutely nasty. The pass rush would be just relentless. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but it's a dream, right? It's a dream. and we can think about it, and we are thinking about it, right? 2021 stats, 15 games played, 15 started, 778 snaps, 41 total tackles, 31 solo, 10 assisted, 12 tackles for loss, 26 quarterback hits, and 10.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 1 fumble, and that's only in 15 games. He missed 2 games, right? So 10.5 sacks there. 6 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and 4 passes defensed. Made the Pro Bowl in 15, 17, 19, and 2021, as well as being an All-Pro in 17 and 19. As you can see, has a number of accolades to his name for his career. He's Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie Team in 2012, New England Patriots 2010s All-Decade Team, the NFL's 2010s All-Decade Team, Super Bowl champion in 2014, Super Bowl 49. He also made Defensive Player of the Year, 3rd place in 2017, Deacon Jones Award in 2017, Defensive Player of the Year, 2nd place in 2019, NFL Forced Fumbles co-leader in 2019, and the Butkus Award in 2019. So, fuck me running. I mean, obviously, and then when you look at his grades, obviously he's been pretty stellar, although the past 2 years, not so great in his grades, but he's obviously been, which is a little strange though, because when you look at these stats and stuff, I mean, fucking phenomenal, right? So obviously an amazing player. Would love to have him on the team if, anyway. And I guess actually I have Harold Landry not as a linebacker. It's funny because I was thinking about that earlier when I was talking about Harold Landry, and I could have sworn I actually had him as an edge rusher actually, but they do consider him an outside linebacker, but for that role as a pass rusher. But it depends on the scheme that you play, obviously, right? As a 4-3 or 3-4, we happen to play a little bit of a hybrid, so we are capable of bringing in players that fit either scheme, although that can be a little dangerous. Now, he is cheap and he did not get franchise tagged or anything. He is young at 26 years of age, and he has been a pretty damn good player. So I would like to take a look at him. Obviously, I showed you that tweet about with Harold Landry being involved. So would be an intriguing player to bring in, especially if you do consider him a linebacker, put him into that linebacking unit. Although we don't necessarily need more pass rushing linebackers, we really need more of the run stuffing, middle linebacker. But anyway, I digress. Measurables combine. He was a round 2 pick in 2018, 41 overall, 4 years in, all with the Titans so far. 64 games played, 52 started, 3, and who knows, they could give him a contract extension, right? Like, that could happen. So 3,191 snaps, 797.75 per year, 256 total tackles, 64 per, 164 solo, 41 per year, 92 assisted, 23 per, 41 tackles for loss, 10.25, 66 quarterback hits, 16.5 per year, 31 sacks, 7.75 per year, has been putting up pretty damn good numbers, right? 2 interceptions, half an interception per season, 3 forced fumbles, 0.75 per year, 2 recoveries, half a recovery per season, 8 passes defense, 2 per year, and this past season did set or match a number of career bests, 17 games played, 17 started, although this season that obviously would be a best for everybody. 837 snaps, 75 total tackles, 51 solo, 24 assisted, 14 tackles for loss, 22 quarterback hits, 12 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Hasn't been graded out particularly well, did also make the Pro Bowl this past season in 2021. Hasn't been graded particularly well, but again, take it for what you will. I think he's actually probably performed, especially in 2021, performed above where these grades are. But, they make the grades. I just give them to you, so it is what it is. Von Miller is next up on the list, and I have mentioned, though, that he could very well stay with the Rams, or even if he doesn't, there is a good possibility there are a number of other teams that are looking to potentially bring in his services, so there would be competition, and the price tag would probably be pretty high. So probably not who we'd want to go after, especially since it's not an extremely high priority. He is also 33 years old, and I heard, I've seen reports that he could make his way back to the Denver Broncos, actually. So anyway, measurables, combine score, pro days, first round pick in 2011, second overall, 11 years in, started with the Broncos from 11 to 19, obviously spent a portion of time with them in 2021, then the Rams to present, but fortunate enough for him, it was enough to get him a Super Super Bowl ring this year. He made it just in time to get that ring. 150 games played, 150 started, so started every single game he's played in. 7,603 snaps, 691.2 per year. Obviously another one of the premier talents in this league. 540 total tackles, 49.1 per season, 413 solo, 37.5, 127 assisted, 11.5. 154 tackles for loss, 14 per year, 233 quarterback hits, 21.2, 115.5 sacks, monster number, 10.5 per season, another 10.5 per year kind of guy, 2 interceptions, 0.2 per year, 27 forced fumbles, 2.5 per season. 9 recoveries, 0.8 per year, 22 passes defense, 2 per season, 2 touchdowns, 0.2 per year, and played in 15 games, 15 started this past season, 710 snaps, 50 total tackles, 33 solos, 17 assisted, 19 tackles for loss, 17 quarterback hits with 9.5 sacks. 1 forced fumble, 1 pass defense. Obviously has a number of accolades to his name as well. Made the Pro Bowl in 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and was an All-Pro in 2012, 15, and 16. Made the NFL's 2010s All-Decade Team. Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2011. All-Pro Second Team in 2011. Defensive Player of the Year, second place in 2012. Butkus Award in 2012. All-Pro Second Team in 2014. Was a Super Bowl champion in 2015 with Super Bowl 50. Also was Super Bowl 50 Most Valuable Player, so he has that to his name. That was with the Broncos, obviously. Defensive Player of the Year, second place in 2016. All-Pro Second Team in 17 and 18. And then, obviously, again, a Super Bowl champion in 2021, Super Bowl 56 with the Rams, and his grades have been stellar his entire career. So, you know, I mean, he is who he is, right? Didn't play any. I think maybe he was a opt-out in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So, but other than that, been fucking stellar. I mean, look at all of these elite grades, right? He is who he is. Next up, Jadeveon Clowney, although probably wouldn't come here. Didn't want to come here before, probably wouldn't now. He's in void years of his contract, 29, currently with the Browns, $8 million current APY. Measurables, combine. Round 1 pick in 2014, first overall, 8 years in, started with the Texans from 14 to 18, 19 with the Seahawks, 20 with the Titans, 2021 to present with the Browns, 97 games played, 88 started, 4,830 snaps, 603.75 per year, 292 total tackles, 36.5, 210 solo, 26.25, 82 assisted, 10.25, 86 tackles for loss, 10.75, 105 quarterback hits, 13.125, 41 sacks, and 5.125 per year, 1 interception, 0.125, 12 forced fumbles, 1.5, 7 fumble recoveries, 0.875 per year, 20 passes defense, 2.5, 4 touchdowns, which is a half a touchdown per season. 14 games, 14 started this past year, 672 snaps, 37 total, 24 solo, 13 assisted, 11 tackles for loss, 19 quarterback hits, 9 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 passes defense, did make the Pro Bowl in 16, 17, and 18, and All-Pro Second Team in 2016. Has had some pretty good grades, though, for the majority of his career, except for his first season, so there is that. But has been pretty solid each and every year, although, you know, he has bounced around a bit. He's had some injuries too as well, but, you know. Randy Gregory, who does look like he will become a free agent. He is 30 though as a UFA, but cheap at a current APY of $1 million. Measurables, combine, pro day, round 2 pick in 2015, 60th overall, 7 years in, all with the Cowboys. 15 games played, 12 started, 1,450 snaps, 207.1 per year, 85 total tackles, 12.1, 64 solo, 9.1, 21 assisted, 3 per year, 19 tackles for loss, 2.7, 52 quarterback hits, 7.4 per year, 16.5 sacks, 2.4, 1 interception, which is 0.1, 8 forced fumbles, 1.1 per year, 2 fumble recoveries, 0.3, 2 passes defense, also 0.3 per season. In 2021, he played in 12 games, started 11, 429 snaps, 19 total tackles, 15 solo, 4 assisted, 4 tackles for loss, 17 quarterback hits, 6 snaps, 1 interception, 3 fumble recoveries, or forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 pass defense. Whew! So much stuff to go through. And PFF grades, hasn't been graded out particularly well, didn't get any snaps in 17 or 19. has missed a bunch of time, hasn't got a ton of usage each and every year, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I think, again, every guy on this list take a look at. Now we move to Emmanuel Ogbah, who I'm actually not even going to go through because I did, go through all this. I will scroll through it so you can see it. And you guys know that I already think he should be brought back. They should find a way to write him up for the next 2 or 3 years at least. But we'll see what happens with that. So just a quick scroll through of Emmanuel Ogbah. I did go through him when I went through my video yesterday with who the Dolphins currently have on their defensive line. So we do now move to Melvin Ingram, who was a target this past season for the Dolphins, potentially. Void years, he is older, 33, $4 million current APY. Measurables, combine scores, round 1 pick in 2012, 18th overall. 10 years in, started with the San Diego Chargers at the time, 2012 to 16. Then they became the Los Angeles Chargers from 17 to present, obviously. But then he went to the Chiefs in 2021. Played a little bit with them and the Steelers in 2021, but is now back with the Chiefs. Currently, 128 games played, 103 started, 5,903 snaps, 590.3 per year, 385 total, 38.5, 277, 27.7 per year, 108 assisted, 10.8, 74 tackles for loss, 7.4, 119 quarterback hits, 11.9 per year, 51 sacks, 5.1 per season, 3 interceptions, 0.3, 15 forced fumbles, 1.5, 7 fumble recoveries, 0.7, 29 passes defense, 2.9, and 1 touchdown, which is 0.1 per year. 15 games played, 7 started this past season, 554 snaps. 25 total tackles, 12 solo, 13 assisted, 4 tackles for loss, 11 quarterback hits, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 pass defense, made the Pro Bowl in 17, 18, and 19, and has been decently graded for the vast majority of his career, even posting some elite grades there at points overall and in pass rush, then in a run defense this past season. So there you have it for him. We now move on to Hassan Reddick from the Carolina Panthers. He's 28 in void years, $6 million current APY, measurables, combine, pro day, round 1 pick in 2017, 13 overall, 5 years in, starting with the Cardinals, 17 to 20, 2021 to present with the Panthers, 80 games played, 47 started, 2,648 snaps, 529.6 per year, 323 total tackles, 64.6, 199 solo, 39.8, 124 assisted, 24.8, 45 tackles for loss, 9 per year, 50 quarterback hits, 10 per year, 31 sacks, 6.2, 11 forced fumbles, 2.2, 2 fumble recoveries, 0.4 per season, 15 passes defensed, 3 per year. And in 2021, he played in 16 games, started 16 games, 779 snaps, set or matched career bests there, 68 total tackles, 37 solo, 31 assisted, 12 tackles for loss, 18 quarterback hits, 11 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Did have his best year this past season grade-wise. Overall, not so hot in his grading. So there you have it. We do now move on to Justin Houston from the Baltimore Ravens, where he is currently a UFA at 33. A little bit older, obviously, about $2 million current APY, measurables, combine, pro day, round 3 pick in 2011, 70th overall, 11 years in, starting with the Chiefs from 11 to 18, 19 to 20 with the Colts, and 2021 to present with the Ravens. 149 games played, 143 started, 6,925 snaps, 629.5 per year, 485 total tackles, 44.1 per, 390 solo, 35.5 per year, 95 assisted, 8.6 per, 123 tackles for loss, 11.2 per, 165 quarterback hits, that's 15 per season, 102 sacks, 9.3 per year, gotten some decent production obviously out of him, 4 interceptions, 0.4 per season, 18 forced fumbles, 1.6 per year, 14 recoveries, 1.3, 33 passes defense, that's 3 per year, 2 touchdowns, 0.2 per year, and 4 safeties to his career, 0.4 per season. 15 games played, 15 started in 2021, 550 snaps, 34 total tackles, 19 solo, 15 assisted, 6 tackles for loss, 17 quarterback hits, 4.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 forced fumble and 1 fumble recovery with 1 pass defense. Did make the Pro Bowl in 12, 13, 14, and 15 with All-Pro in 2014. Also won the Deacon Jones Award in 2014 and is currently tied at 4 with most career safeties for an NFL record. So there is that. and has overall been graded out pretty damn good, even with a number of, elite pass rushing or elite overall and pass rushing grades in a number of seasons, right? Although seems to have fallen off a little bit in recent years, but, and, potentially the case with a guy that is, 33, right? So something to think about, but another guy to take a look at, another solid player, really good player, and has been for the most of his career. We do now move to Jerry Jones from Buffalo, UFA at 34, 10.75 current APY, measurables, combine. Was a first-round pick in 2010, 31 overall, 12 years in, starting with the Colts from 10 to 12, 13 to present with the Bills, 184 games played, 134 started, 6,913 snaps, 576.1 per year, 412 total tackles, 34.3 per, 276 solo, 23, 136 assisted, 11.3, 82 tackles for loss, 6.8 per year, 129 quarterback hits, 10.75 per season, 58 sacks, 4.8 per year, 1 interception, 0.1 per, 16 forced fumbles, 1.3, 5 fumble recoveries, 0.4 per season, 20 passes defense, 1.7, 2 touchdowns, 2.2 per year. And he played in 17 games this season, started 16 of them, 537 total snaps, 18 total tackles, 8 solo, 10 assisted, 1 tackle for loss, 17 quarterback hits, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 passes defensed. And his past couple seasons hasn't had, great grades. He's kind of been up and down, honestly, if you look at the totality of his career, when you look at his grades, although has also had some really good years as well, although is a little bit older too. Now we move on to Derek Barnett, who has in the past been linked to the Dolphins from Philly in void years. He is younger, 26, about 3.2 million current APY, measurables, combine. Pro Day scores, round 1 pick in 2017, although hasn't quite lived up to that potential as of yet. 14 overall, 5 years in, all with the Eagles so far. 64 games played, 45 started, 2,555 snaps, 511 per year, 147 total tackles, 29.4 per, 95 solo, 19 per year, 52 assisted, 10.4 per season, 36 tackles for loss, 7.2, 76 quarterback hits, 15.2, 21.5 sacks, 4.3 per year. He's been decent, but not spectacular. 3 forced fumbles, 0.6 per, 3 fumble recoveries, 0.6 per year, 1 touchdown, 0.2 per year, 16 games played, 15 started, 699 snaps, 46 total tackles, 20 solo, 26 assisted, 7 tackles for a loss, 11 quarterback hits, and 2 sacks. Also made Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie Team in 2017 and is a Super Bowl champion from 2017 with the Eagles in Super Bowl 52. When they made it and won, and has been decent in his overall grading throughout his career. Has been decent, although probably hasn't quite lived up to that first round billing. All right. Whew. Man, this is a lot to go through, I know. But we are getting close to the end, guys. Let's take a look now at the next guy, who's another older guy with a pretty pricey tag. 12.5 per current APY as a UFA from the Tampa Bay Bucks. We have Jason Pierre-Paul. Measurables, combine, pro day, but has also been another, damn good player throughout his career. Round 1 pick in 2010. 15 overall, 12 years in, starting with the Giants from 10 to 17, 18 to present with the Bucks, 165 games played, 137 started, 8,869 snaps, 739.1 per year, so a pretty good consistent workload, 603 total tackles, 50.25 per year, 438 solo, 36.5 per, 165 assisted, 13.75 per year, 122 tackles for loss, 10.2 per year, 164 quarterback hits, 13.7, 91.5 sacks, 7.625 per year. So obviously another one of the premier talents and guys who has really gotten it done no matter what you ask him to do. 4 interceptions, 0.3 per year, 21 forced fumbles, 1.75, 10 recoveries, 0.8, 61 passes defense, 5.1 per year, 3 touchdowns, 0.25, 1 safety, 0.1 per year. 12 games played, 12 games started this past season, 552 total snaps, 31 total tackles, 20 solo, 11 assisted, 3 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits, 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 4 passes defense. Did make the Pro Bowl in 11, 12, and 20 with an All-Pro bid in 2011. Made Defensive Player of the Year, 4th place in 2011, and is a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Super Bowl 46 and Super Bowl 55, 2011 and 2020 respectively. and his grades have been a little bit up and down, but rather consistent for the most part over his career in the green area, although this past season not so great, probably definitely his worst year, but has been a good player overall for the vast majority of his career. All right, now we move on to, I believe he may even be the last guy on this list, and that is true. Takkarist McKinley from Cleveland. He's 27 UFA, 4.25 million current APY. Measurables, combine, round 1 pick in 2017, 26 overall, 5 years in, started with the Falcons from 17 to 20, Browns from 2021 to present, 60 games played, 27 started, 1,902 snaps. Another guy that probably hasn't quite lived up to that first round billing, but it is what it is. 380.4 overall snaps per year on average, 97 total tackles, 19.4, 63 solo, 12.6, 34 assisted, 6.8, 25 tackles for loss, 5 per year, 53 quarterback hits, 10.6, 20 sacks, 4-point year, 3 forced fumbles, 0.6 per, 1 fumble recovery, 0.2, and 2 passes defense, which is 0.4 per year. 11 games played, 2 started this past season, 306 snaps, 18 total tackles, 10 solo, 8 assisted, 3 tackles for loss, 8 quarterback hits, 2.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. And again, hasn't been spectacularly graded throughout his career, and also hasn't exactly gotten, a workhorse kind of workload when it comes to his snaps. So, there you have it. I know that was a lot and probably going to end up being one of my longer videos. It turned out to be about an hour, but I did want to squeeze in, both defensive and defensive tackle into this, because I am trying to make sure I get, and I think by doing this, I should be able to get in all of my videos now by the start of the new league year. I think my last one, which will be my combination video of quarterbacks and punters in free agency, I'm going to do both of them in the same video, because those are actually kind of short lists that I think I'll be dropping on the 16th, which is the opening of the new league year and the start of free agency. So with this video being a little bit longer, but putting it all together, I should have been able to accomplish that. So, and I think if my calculations are correct, I will be. So, I know it's a lot to get through, but a lot of really good information in there. And again, I am working on how to streamline my format, and I think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting pretty close now in how I want to present this information to you, because it is a lot. But I do want to give it all to you because it is a lot of really good information. And I am the kind of person, as you guys know, that believes in nuance, believes in detail. I don't like to just look at things on the surface. I like to be very in-depth. So, and again, I am also very much also learning about a lot of these players and trying to, expand my knowledge when it comes to, football mind and an analytical mind, not just for the Dolphins, but for the NFL as a whole, and also extending to, more into the college ranks and learning how to be a scout and a prospect evaluator. So anyway, I hope you guys appreciate it. I am going to get out of here, and I am going to wrap this up by saying, make sure you check out the Rave On Sports App, the new fan-driven sports app for all of your sports, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, college, whatever you like. They got it, and they are looking to enhance your game day experience with live play-by-play coverage, live chats with other fans and content creators like myself, while also providing you with an arena to dispute the terrible officiating. So look for the links to that in the description box. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. Of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at DillonTartaro, as well as on Instagram at Dolphins_with_Dillon. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.
it.